So now
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started,
okay.
Jeffrey. So thank you all for joining us. Welcome to our MoxiWorks Hours Essentials. And this session is on MoxiPresent and specifically customizing your seller presentation. There's a ton of information that we have to share with you. And if you all
I can't hear you. This is short. Oh.
If you all can take a moment to mute yourself, that'd be fantastic. I'm going to try to mute. Okay, very good. Yeah, so customizing your seller presentation. And also we have a lot of other tips and tricks that are not MoxiPresent seller presentation related. So I think that'll come in handy for a lot of you as well. Myself, I am the host today. I'm joined with my colleague, Angie Myers. My name is Alex Castro. We're both on the product marketing team. Angie is going to field any calls that you have or any questions that you have, on the chat. So as we're going through this session, feel free to jot down any question that you have in chat and Angie will do her best to answer it. Alternatively, you can jot down your question, write it down so that you can ask it at the end of our session. We're going to reserve the last 5-10 minutes so that you can ask questions live. Also, Angie's going to share some kind of cool stories that we just got information on. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to talk a little bit about MoxiWorks FAQs, and then we're going to get into some best practices, some tips and tricks, and hopefully all of these are going to kind of come in handy for a lot of you. We're going to go through some slides. We're going to go through certainly a live demo. And at the end, we're going to ask you to quickly fill out a short survey and then any questions and answers that we have for your questions, okay? Number 5, testimonials. If you can think of, if you are able to share any wins, any success stories, anything like that with us, that'd be fantastic. We're looking for how the product has helped you with your business, okay? And then talk a little bit about support if we have time. Before we get into it, I just wanted to quickly launch a poll. It should take probably 1 minute, and hopefully you all can see the poll on your screen. This is strictly anonymous, so we don't know who is answering what, so not to worry about that. Question number 1, how would you rate your MoxiPresent level of experience? And as you can see, these questions are kind of gauging our audience today. So hopefully everybody can see that poll. Angie, can you confirm that?
I can't see it on my end.
You can't see it? Oh, yeah, because you're your co-host. How about anybody else? Okay, so I think people are now starting to answer. Good. Very good. Thank you, Jimmy. So how would you rate your MoxiPresent level of experience? Again, this is multiple choice. You can answer more than one of those selections. Question number 2, how many people have you shared a MoxiPresent presentation to or with? Okay, again, this is to gauge who our audience is today. Oh, look at that. We have a few people with 20 or more. Fantastic. Number 3, do you know what Leads Engine is or what it does? Okay, because that's a little bit of tips and tricks for today. And we want to kind of see who or how many of you on our call today actually know what Leads Engine is, or if you've never heard of it, that's fine too. And the last question, how often do you look at your Moxie Engage dashboard? Okay, so we'll take a few more seconds. If we can get a few more people to complete the survey, that'd be fantastic. Going once, going twice, and I'm gonna ask Angie if you could take a quick snapshot of the results as I display them. Excellent. A few more seconds. Excellent. All right, very good. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll and then share the results. And hopefully you all can see the results. How would you rate your MoxiPresent level of experience? no experience. So a quarter of you have no experience because you haven't launched yet. Played around a little bit. Okay, so a lot of you on this call, kind of newbies, if I were to make a general assumption. We have 3 people who consider themselves expert level. That's great. And hopefully they're going to be able to still learn something by attending our session. Let's see, having serious issues, those of you, those 2 people who are having serious issues, make sure that you submit a ticket, get that ticket number sent to us via email, not through the chat. Okay, so that we can escalate. How many people have you shared a MoxiPresent presentation to? A lot of you, not very many, but there are a few of you, 20 or more. Okay, so that's 3 people. Those are probably the expert level, I'm guessing, same people who answer that. I've sent a CMA to all the property owners in my sphere of influence. That's 2 people. Fantastic. So some of you who are new to this MoxiPresent product, you're going to kind of realize, oh my gosh, what an opportunity. Okay, so question number 3, what do you know about Leads Engine, if anything? So a lot of you, nothing. I think I do. So probably, I'm guessing half really don't know what Leads Engine is. And I'm going to, we're going to explain that really quickly. And then last question, how often do you look at your Moxie Engage dashboard? Daily, about half of you. Several times a day, 1 of you. Never, half of you again. So what hopefully you get out of today is how important it is to look at that dashboard. So hopefully, Angela, you got those screenshots. That'd be fantastic. Excellent. So just kind of a quick recap. This session is being recorded, so it will be shared. The recording link will be shared with everybody who registers for this session. So you don't have to actually be here. We would love for you to be here so you can ask your questions live, but worst case scenario, we know you're busy, so we're gonna record this and everybody will receive a recording. And then Calvin, I think I got your email. You'll get that from the 18th, August 18th. So this session, this Moxie Works Hours session, purpose is to build your skills, features, benefits of all the products. Today, we're focusing on 1. If you have a question, submit a ticket. And you want to submit a ticket by clicking on the link. Do not send an email to support.moxieworks.com. Okay, so click that. Everybody should hopefully have visited that website already. You don't need a login. This session is every other week, and we are now soon going to release where we're going to have sessions every week. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. We're going to send links out for that, as well as advanced sessions, probably the last 3 months of this year. For those of you who are new, some of this information may be a little bit too much, overwhelming for you, some of you. We recommend that you complete your launch training e-learning sessions prior to attending these sessions, but nevertheless, if you haven't, feel free to stay on because you're going to learn quite a bit. Today, of the 4 products for your agents, we are going to focus on MoxiPresent. Okay, so before we get into MoxiPresent, I just wanted to share a few best practices and tips and tricks. All right, so some of you are using the Zap mobile app. Okay, the legacy product, what you may have been using prior to Moxie Engage, yes? So on your Zap read-only date, which hopefully you all know what that is or when that is, your mobile app is going to be read-only, okay? So what you're going to see is you can see here, these little banners. Your company no longer has access to Zap. Please contact your Zap office administrator for more details. The left side is for your iPhone users, Android users. On the right side, that is what you're going to see. Okay, so be prepared. This is, we're going to actually have some MoxiWorks Hour sessions on that transition from Zap and other products into Moxie Engage. So that'll help you out if you are still making that migration. Next, topic. Are you reaching your production goal for 2022, some of you, or all of you? How are you comparing to those goals you set out at the beginning of the year, right? We only have a little more than a quarter left of 2022. Now, question, and please answer in chat. How many of your dashboards look like this? Probably more than half of you, because a lot of you are still new, haven't even launched yet. All right, so this, as I equate it, or want to use the, let's say, metaphor, it may be time to fill up your sales flow fuel tank. Does that make sense? So when I ask the question, how many of you look at Moxie Engage on a daily basis, multiple times a day, right? This is what you should be looking at, right? Your dashboard, just like when you get in your car, every single time you look at your dashboard, do I have enough gas? At least that's what I do, yes? So do I have enough prospects? Do I have enough active people? Do I have enough pending transactions for that next paycheck? Okay, so what should it look like, right? A lot of you start out like this. That's okay, that's fine. But what should it look like? Ideally, big numbers, right? A full tank. So what activities are you doing to fill your sales flow fuel tank with prospects and deals? All right, so this is what we all want to aspire to. Some of you, probably the expert people who classify themselves as expert MoxiPresent, I would venture to say that their numbers are not zeros. Okay, so just wanted to keep it simple. This is your dashboard. You log in, hopefully many times a day, not just daily, once a day, to see, okay, what do I have going on? And if you got a bunch of zeros, it's time to fill that sales flow fuel tank, yes? So what can you do? And I'm just gonna quickly go over this. A lot of this, okay, yeah, we get it. We get the reminder, yeah? How can you fill up your dashboard with numbers, right? Set up contacts on neighborhood news, right? Check your activity feed to see who's doing something on my Moxie Engage platform. Are they opening up my emails? Are they searching? Are they saving favorites, right? Reach out to 5 people. Moxie Engage does a great job. Reach out and touch these people. Text, email, phone call, so that you stay in flow, right? Use MoxiPresent and send out a CMA. That's what we're gonna talk about today. How else can you do it? Add new contacts, of course, right? We are salespeople, we're prospecting, that should be the name of the game. We're gonna add people to our CRM called Moxie Engage, right? Some of you already have migrated your data, your CRM, from a previous legacy system. Now, what do I do? Use the category wizard to categorize your people. What does that mean? Are they a buyer? Are they a seller? Right? Are they somebody, they shouldn't even be in my Moxie Engage CRM, that sort of thing. So the category wizard. And I don't mean to go too fast for a lot of you who are new to the product, but this should be review if you've gone through the launch training, yeah? Send new contacts a safe search. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, like for example, safe search, you want to jot that down so you can go to the success portal, otherwise known as support.moxieworks.com, and search for safe search. What is Alex talking about? Okay, that's not what this session is about. It's just kind of a quick reminder of best practices. What should I do? I need to fill my sales flow fuel tank. Engage with your company broker leads. Do we all know what we're talking about here? Some of you are at your offices because, oh yeah, my broker is giving out leads. Or, yes, broker company leads are a big part of my business. How do I deal with them? Since we're talking about that, do you all have this phone number saved on your phone? This is the phone number that's gonna call and ring you with lead information from your broker, from your company. And if you don't have that as a special ringtone, you may miss it. You may think like, oh, that's somebody who I don't recognize. Save this number on your phone. special ringtone. So you know, oh my gosh, I got to grab that phone because there's a lead on that other line. Also, you're going to get an email with the lead confirmation details that come from this email address. And it may go to your spam or junk. You don't want that to happen, right? Because that's a lead with information that I should know about, yeah? Okay, so why should you know how to work your company leads, right? Because look at all this. You can close more transactions. You want to stay on top of the leads, stay organized, be consistent with your customer communication, get more leads, and maximize level of engagement with your leads, right? And of course, if we are looking at our Moxie Engage dashboard multiple times a day, we want to increase that speed to lead. And if you do your research on NER, right, the people who are within seconds calling back that lead, the odds of you engaging with that lead increase dramatically as opposed to minutes, if not hours later. Makes sense? So your job is to maximize the use of Moxie Engage to achieve all these benefits and increase your business. All right, so what does a company lead look like? And I want to thank our friend Jimmy McNally for sharing these screens with us, okay? Because this in Moxie Engage, I'm not talking about MoxiPresent yet. This is what it's going to look like. So some of you are going to say, okay, I don't even know what Leads Engine is. Okay, so this is your screen, your dashboard under people, yes? That new lead, we redacted the name here, will say new Leads Engine. That's how you know, oh my gosh, I need to stay on top of this broker lead, company lead. Why? Because if I don't, I may not be given the next lead should it be my turn. Does that make sense? Each one of your offices maintains different engagement rules. Engagement rules, I mean by how quickly, how often you should be communicating with this lead that your office is giving you. Does that make sense? So this is how you identify it, yeah? And here's the next screen, okay? So here you can see when it was added to your Moxie Engage account. So this is how you recognize a company or broker lead versus somebody that you've added via an import, via you entered it manually. Leads Engine lead right there. Does that make sense? And if you have questions, feel free to put it in chat. I just want to point out that this is important. These are leads that somebody's giving you that you need to stay on top of. Some of you are using Moxie Engage just so that you can maintain these. I know that that was the case in Zap, where agents, the only reason why they use Zap is because so that they can manage and receive company leads. That was it. Okay. So if that's you, you want to make sure, right? In addition to, right, we hope that you use it for all of your business, your sphere, company leads, everything. All right. Look at this. Lead sources. How many leads have I received from Leads Engine or the company / broker? Okay. So you can see, you can go click, you could filter, go click, show me all the leads that I need to make sure to stay on top of. That makes sense. Okay. All right. So now for the headline topic of today, MoxiPresent, customizing your seller presentation. Okay. So why learn about this? Just a few things. Just wanted to point out, showcase your unique selling proposition. Okay. Why am I different? And then you'll see from a story that Angie's going to share with you, it made a huge difference in a competitive situation. Showcase your neighborhood expertise, right? We all want to look like the expert. Stay top of mind with your sphere of influence. Maintain consistent prospecting strategy. You don't know how many stories that we've heard from our product champions, from agents directly, about the wins and success stories that they've had with just MoxiPresent, okay? Basically 1/4 of your entire MoxiWorks product suite. Increase your sphere of influence, level of engagement. We all want to be engaged. We want to stay top of mind. Also, it's a huge way for us to showcase our technology. Sometimes that's important with our sphere, the people we're working with, our prospects, our leads. Build rapport, credibility, right? Earn new business, close a new transaction. That's the ultimate. All right, so before we get into it really, why should I be excited about MoxiPresent? Okay, so I've showed you all of these, right? Why learn? But I think what Angie's about to share with you is probably gonna be easier to remember if you would. All right, so I just wanted to turn it over to Angie. And Angie, if you wouldn't mind spending a few minutes and share some of the success stories that you've heard on your product champions call recently.
Sure. Well, I have one in particular that is actually, they resemble each other. Jim shared, I don't want to take Jim's thunder, but he did share with us that he had a new agent that came in. She was using MoxiPresent, and I should probably let him tell it because he's probably better at telling it than I am. Jim, if you want to.
Oh yeah, Jim McNally, are you available to speak a little bit? Maybe. Sorry to put you on the spot. Maybe
I could steal his thunder. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
But he had a new agent that came in that was using MoxiPresent for the presentation. Of course, when you do it, it's not just a static presentation. Everything updates. Everything is beautiful. It makes you look good. And she won. It was over $1 million listing. She got additional business from that as well. And I believe he said when all was said and done, she had about $4 million in business, all stemming from that Moxie presentation. And that's not the first time that I've heard that. I actually worked with an agent, brand new agent in the office, went to a listing appointment and did not know that she was up against another agent in her office. She was brand new. The other agent had been an agent for like 15 some years, was like a luxury specialist. And the property was about, I'm going to say $1.4 million. And she ended up winning the listing. She took her Moxie presentation. She added some stuff to it. She just made herself look good. And she ended up winning that listing and not the more experienced agent. He had, I guess, whatever listing presentation he normally used, but the sellers were very impressed. She had sent it out a few days before, and they were very impressed that a lot of the properties in the CMA, the status had changed, like it updated, and they thought that was so cool that she was able to give them real-time data, and that it really looked like she knew her stuff. And I always say that the products are great, but really what it helped her do was to sell herself. Because, we sell houses, but if we don't sell ourselves first, then we don't sell houses. So definitely love those stories. Love to hear of people making money from using the products.
Excellent. Thank you, Angie, for sharing. Just a couple highlights, and we'll touch on these a little bit later, right? Angie said new agent, new to the office, right? Some of you are new to the business. This is a great equalizer that can make you look more experienced than, let's say, your competition. Okay, and then when Angie mentions about the listings automatically changing, we're talking about, or your CMA or the presentation, yes? We're talking about dynamic content, so that as you are driving to that, let's say, listing presentation, and you're already prepared that seller presentation that we're going to talk about today, or that CMA, it is being updated as the MLS is changing. Does that make sense? So as you're going through it with that prospective seller sitting down in their living room or kitchen counter, what have you, that presentation is being dynamically updated with current data. As opposed to if you had printed that, which you of course have the same option of doing, if you printed or sent it to a PDF or emailed it in a PDF format, that's a picture in time versus as you're viewing it dynamically, and we're going to show you that today, the seller and you are presenting the most current information as per the MLS. Hopefully that makes sense. And that is a huge differentiator. Does that make sense? And if you have questions about what I just said, because you need to understand it so that you can articulate it with your customers, your sphere, that this is the technology that you have. Okay. So 5 presentation types: seller, property review, buyer tour, buyer non-listing. Today, we're going to focus on the seller presentation type. You can create whatever you want. You can have custom single page documents, but today we're going to focus on seller since I think this is the one that people most use and has been winning business. And I think everybody can appreciate that. Okay, so we are going to go live now into the system. Any questions before I jump to my next screen? Any questions?
I'm sorry, I missed a few minutes, but how do we get, will you go back to, this looks like a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
And we go back to how do we get to this place?
Yeah, we're going to do that now.
You.
All right, does everybody, do you see my screen now?
It's
Angie?
very small.
Okay, let me.
I can see it.
Thank you.
Let me zoom up a little bit. All right, does everybody see this?
So you're actually in Moxie Engage, right?
Well, I'm in it. I just clicked on Moxie Engage to kind of give you a feel for.
Well, that's how we would do it there.
This is how you would enter the system.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So here is my dashboard. I'm in Engage. This is how I log in, and you can see my sales flow fuel tank or gas tank is on empty. I don't have marketing people, one prospect, active pending. Nothing much is happening in our demo system. Make sense? Actually, we can go into agent mode. Yeah. Okay. So just want to make sure this is what I'm talking about. So you want to go in here, you log in every day, multiple times a day, and see what you have going on. Okay. So today we are going into MoxiPresent. So everybody could hopefully see my beaconing cursor. I'm going to hit present. And since a lot of you are newbies to the product, we're going to start fresh. You can see here, we have a lot of existing presentations. My presentations, broker presentations. Broker presentations, something that has been created by your broker. My presentations, things that I've created, right? My account. So to start fresh, create new. Does everybody see this on the far right-hand side? I'm just going to click on create new. Today, we are going to focus on one of the 5 presentation types, as I mentioned earlier, the seller presentation type. Click, it's a radio button. You can only pick one. Okay. And then from there, I'm going to hit continue. And if we can have everybody mute, Angie, maybe if you can help mute a little bit of background noise. Maybe if I can identify who that is.
It's not allowing me to mute anyone.
How's that? I think that's better. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna hit out of the new, I'm gonna hit, okay, is it my templates or brokerage templates? I'm gonna use a default seller brokerage template that has been prepared by our broker. Yes. So I'm going to click on that. Seller, because we're going to, let's say, try to do a CMA, a comparative market analysis. And as you can see, there are different templates that we can use. Templates, as you all know, are something that has kind of the format that we want, and we're going to customize it. Yeah, we're going to tweak it a little bit. And as you can see, you can save what you've created as a new template, which is huge. So you don't have to recreate the wheel, but I think it's a great opportunity for you to customize after some of the information we share with you today. Continue. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. Default seller, click on the radio button, continue. Prepared for Mr. and Mrs. MoxiWorks hours 0908. All right, and here's my MLS. If you have multiple, you're going to be able to pick. Okay, one listing source. I'm going to hit create. Take a couple seconds and you'll see the little spinning. There you go. And there is my template. As you can see, I have 0 listings included in my MoxiPresent presentation. But I have 12 pages already. 12 pages. Let's look what they are. I'm going to click on pages. Aha, look what we have here. Mr. and Mrs., right? This is what I just titled it. There's me. This is our demo system. Okay, but that's our cover page. And you can see the 12 pages that that template has already included. And all we need to do to customize is go to each page. Some of them we cannot customize. We can delete them by removing it. Or we can hit the pencil to edit or customize. Yeah. So let's go back. And then also we can add pages, and we're going to do a couple ads in a second. Okay. So let's go back. Go back here. And before I forget, I just wanted to add a little tip here. On this particular screen, you can see now that this presentation, my presentations, is now listed in the upper left-hand side, which means it's the one that I touched last, right? You can click on it, which means it's going to start the presentation and show you what the customer would see, or you can hit the pencil to edit that. Here, if you highlight that little clock icon, you can see some of the information, when it was created, last updated, updated by whom, yeah. But also I wanted to share with you the 3 vertical ellipses, ... Click. Oh, I can add a co-presenter if I'm part of a team. If I have another person that is stepping in for me, I can add that person. What is that person's name? Okay, we're going to add this person, which is a Realogy demo, right? And all I have to do is add that person. Okay, that's if you want somebody to present with you, or you have a partner, something like that. I'm going to hit the X. So now you can see that I have a icon that's been added, as opposed to these other presentations that don't have that icon. Yeah. So going back to modifying this CMA, or the seller presentation, I'm going to hit the pencil icon. And again, if you have any questions, Write it down so you don't forget, so you can ask later, or put that in chat for Angie to answer. Angie is an expert with MoxiPresent. All right, so first it's asking me an MLS number. I'm going to put one that Angie's used in the past, okay? And I'm going to copy. And you can put old listings, expired listings perhaps, because we can change the data. We could change remarks with our own remarks. I'm gonna hit copy. And then here's a couple of tips, right? Copied MLS data is static and will not automatically update. Use copied MLS data for a quick start and customize it as it is needed. That makes sense. So if you use this approach, right, if you copy like I did doing right now, it's gonna fill in some of these blanks, right? Look at that, the address, put in a map, all this information, school district, all from the MLS. Okay, but copied MLS data that we just copied is static. It's not going to update like the listings that you add on this particular tab. That makes sense. Also, believe it or not, you can upload a new image if you'd like. Okay? You can change the picture for whatever reason you like. Okay? Any questions? I scroll down over on the right side and I click on the continue button. Hopefully everybody can see that right here. Continue. Click. All right. So, okay, it's only given me one listing, but now I want to include more properties in this CMA that we're preparing. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna adjust, let's say adjust the price. Let's go to 600,000. Beds and baths, let's take it just for demo purposes. Right, we're going to apply. Okay, still only 2 listings. Let's go to filters. Let's add condos, townhomes. Okay, so yes, square footage, this is probably a realistic range, but for the purposes of our demo, we're gonna try to include a lot more properties, so we'll give it a larger range. And then you can see, I'm gonna scroll down, you can see all the other filters that you can add. Keep in mind, this is not your MLS. It's not gonna be as robust in terms of options to select on those filters. Okay, so I'm gonna just select a few other things. Let's get rid of that one, okay? And then I'm gonna hit apply. All right, so now look, I have 7 listings. All right, so I have some expired, I have some sold, I have some pendings. Now, I still have 0 that are part of my report to the seller. How do I add them? How do I include them? I'm going to say include all. Include all. Ah, look, went from 0 to 7. Okay, but maybe this expired. Well, maybe that's a good one to keep, but you get the idea of like, okay, let's say this one's way too small or whatever the case is, right? 317. I'm going to exclude this one. Exclude. Okay. Scroll back up. Now I went from 7 to 6 because I excluded that listing by clicking that X to remove that from my seller presentation. Does that make sense? Okay, so remember, you can adjust the price, beds and baths, filters. Okay, And you can see different status, active, sold. And then I'm going to hit apply. All right, so now if we go back to the seller presentation, I hit pages. And then now I could say, okay, what does it look like so far? I'm customizing this, but what does it look like so far? So let's do status comparisons. Click. Oh, look at all this information that is now included. It's the web view as if the customer's viewing it online with you sitting next to them, perhaps in a listing presentation. Or you could say, okay, what does it look like if I printed this in a PDF file? Okay. You can see it's nicely separated, active on first, listed first, pendings next, solds. And you can adjust the order of which these are listed as well. Agent profile, I'm going to hit edit. Okay. It's either I can display it or not, but you can see I can't modify any information here. This is coming from your back office system. So if this information is incorrect, make sure you speak with your administrator to update your agent profile information. That's in dash. Side-by-side comps. Okay, let's do this one. I'm going to do.
Hey, Alex.
Yep.
I want to steal your show.
Yep.
Do side-by-side comps and you click on one of them, you can see all the pretty things.
Very
I'm sure
good.
you're getting to that. I just got excited.
Oh, no problem. Yep. Side-by-side comps. What were you saying, Angie?
So it might not be in this view, but when you open up.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. I
presentation.
meant print view. I'm in web view. That's right. Okay. Yeah, very good. All right. So yeah, this is all the 6 listings that we have listed, and we can click on these comparables, and then we can find out the map information and all the detailed information from that particular listing. Okay, again, this is the web view. And as you can see, when I went to print view, I had no options to do this. I forgot that I was on the print view. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, so do we have any questions, Angie? I just want to make sure that we address any of the questions.
I think I've covered them all.
Okay, very good. So I'm going to hit listings, yes? One of the ways to customize this report is when I hit listings, you can see that I have all the properties listed, one under the other, the 6 properties. But let's say this one, I'm going to adjust this price because this one is lacking or has another bedroom than our subject property, or it has a pool, or our property doesn't have a pool. So let's say this is a pool, this one has a pool. We're gonna adjust it negative because our property, let's say, doesn't have a pool. And you can use your relative prices based on your service market area. We hit add, and you can see it's a negative. I'm gonna confirm that. Okay, and then you can see adjusted price. It was sold at $420, but the adjusted price, because we're going to compare it to our property without a pool, we adjust it a little bit lower. Make sense? And then also as we go to pages, and we can go to side-by-side comparables. And if we can do print view, it shows it a little bit better. We can see this adjustment price for this particular property because it has a pool, for example. The other ones we didn't adjust. Any questions on that? So hopefully you guys get the idea regarding these pages. These all pages are part of our template. We can do the pricing analyses. We can display the property photo or pricing stats. But here is something that I wanted to show you over and above what's included in your template is we want to customize this even more. We had the template, we modified a few pages. That's basic template provided by our brokerage, but I'm gonna add a page. I'm gonna create it entirely new from scratch. I'm gonna build a page on my own, create your own custom page, videos, okay? Text, videos, pictures. Okay, so Alex, what are you talking about? I can go to more. I can include some iframe videos of Matterport virtual tours of a customer review platform. I can copy a YouTube video and include it as part of my, right? This is where you want to show off the web portion of your CMA. It's not going to look as, it's not going to be as powerful if you printed this part. So for example, let's say on YouTube, right? I was talking about tennis earlier. I'm going to share this YouTube video from the US Open from last night. Copy, or actually embed. Does everybody see my screen? Angie, are you able to see my YouTube?
I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure because sometimes I just sharing, the active screen. So I'm going to copy, I'm going to embed. You see all this very technical stuff? I have no idea what it means. I'm not a HTML programmer, but iframes, inline frame, it's basically HTML. I'm just going to copy it. Right? I don't want to overwhelm you, but I'm just showing you what can be done. I copied it, it's in my clipboard. Yeah. I go back to my Moxie Engage custom page that I'm working on, my MoxiPresent custom page that I'm working on. I'm going to go to source. Doesn't that icon look familiar? Source came from YouTube. I just paste that. I don't know what it means, but I could see that's coming from YouTube and it's getting that special ID from YouTube. And I'm going to hit OK. Okay. That's just one example. I'm going to go to more on this screen on the side. You see that, how it embedded that video. I'm going to go to source. I have some, I have some real satisfied reviews from another platform entirely unrelated to MoxiWorks platform. I'm going to pop that in there. Okay. Okay. And then I save that page. I give it a name. I'm going to say YouTube and real satisfied reviews. Okay. Test. Okay. Save. All right. So now what does it look like? You can see the real satisfied reviews popped in there, my YouTube videos. So let's see what the customer is going to look at. I'm going to go to MoxiPresent. Let's close this out first. Oh, a little delay on my screen. Okay, so here's my presentation. If I click on it, it's going to activate it. If I hit the pencil icon, I can customize it. So I'm going to just click on it, click, as if the customer, right? So here's that link that we would send to the customer right up here. So now it says presentation ready. The dynamic web version. I'm not printing this. And then I scroll down and you could see the navigation right here. You could see, oh, Realogy demo 1 or demo 3, that's me. And then I added a partner, added both of us. I hit this, the page down, okay? You could see my presentation. There's me, there's my partner. All right, you could see all this information. If there was a change in price from the MLS, it would appear dynamically in this particular version, not if I printed it. Look at this custom page. Oh, a YouTube video. Your customer is a golfer, a tennis player. Oh my gosh, you pop this into your presentation. He gets to watch. It doesn't leave your presentation. This makes sense. Okay. You can see here on the other side of the screen, I have a real satisfied review, entirely different platform altogether, that they could see your reviews. They could scroll through it. Does that make sense? I can include Matterport virtual tours as part of my presentation. Any questions? I'd like to open it up for open mic, so to speak. And then Angie, if you can add anything that you may feel that is gonna help our participants today.
I think you did a great job. The only thing that I would say, I love Present. I've used it for 4.5, 5 years now. Think outside of the box. You can go in. For mine, I have an entire, if you scroll down there, I don't know if it's there. I have an entire presentation on the local community. You can go in and create custom presentations. And I have one for Joppatown because it's my area. And I'm able to share that in places I can't share real estate. Those Facebook groups that you're a part of, when someone asks a question, I add that stuff to the presentation. Bonus, I can take this information and also put it on a web page on my website as well. But you can also go in. Great tip that I got from a real estate agent was he also takes his CMA that he does a MoxiPresent, and he sends that to the appraiser. Just because it's a way to say, this is how I got to the list price of the home. Here is all the information that you need. By the time it gets to the appraiser, all of those properties have updated in real time. They were active when you started the process of listing the home, and they're under contract now. That's what the appraiser sees, anyone that you send it to. So yeah, I just love these.
Yeah. Questions? Here, I just go, as we're waiting for questions, I just added a Matterport tour as a custom page. I'm customizing my seller presentation. Why? Because my seller, like, wow, I could show the Matterport tour if that property listing has one. You just grab the link. And so now I'm going to save it. And as we're waiting, any questions as I'm demonstrating?
I have a question,
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah.
Where did you grab the link for the Real Satisfied? I know when we're doing like the footer on the web page and we use the widget and the vanity key, it'll self-populate. But where do you grab that?
I grabbed it as I was surfing around the internet for a Real Satisfied example. I found it. I just found the URL, and then I embedded it in an existing iframe code. Does that make sense? I don't want to.
Yes, kind of. So you can embed a URL. I thought you had to have a specific embed code for that.
Ideally, like YouTube, right? YouTube gave it the entire iframe code, right? You saw me, right?
Yes.
But also I could have done it with just the URL that everybody sees on the browser window. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
One. Yeah. So you want to
Okay.
play around with it. And for those of you who are like, this is too much, I apologize. But I'm showing it because some people are ready for that next step. They really want to customize it. And I think I just want to show this real quick because this is like, wow, I think it's the last. Oh, I got that. Where do I put it? Maybe it's on the second page.
So we did have a question. Someone said, do either work the same? I would say, yeah, they basically work the same. Just sometimes the presentation is slightly different and maybe the size of how they present.
Yeah. I mean, look at this example. It's a Matterport tour. Are you kidding? If your seller saw this, if the property had it, right? They're going to say, oh, wow. Yeah, let's go look at this. Or yeah, you're going to do this for my property? You got my business. Makes sense? So this is customizing that seller presentation. It's differentiating yourself. Yeah, you could see this Matterport tour is within my web version, that dynamic version of that seller presentation. You print this out, yeah, you get the picture and it doesn't have the same effect as if your seller's like, oh yeah, you're gonna do this for my property? Make sense? Other questions?
I thought the difference between doing an embed or pasting a link, the embed kind of showed up right inside the frame, but if you did a link, it took somebody outside.
Yeah, well, what I did is you could take that link, probably virtually any link, because I don't think I found that Real Satisfied embed code. I copied that Real Satisfied link that I found and I insert it in an existing, like a YouTube one that had all the crazy HTML codes, and I just kind of substitute the YouTube link with the Real Satisfied link, and then adjusted the numbers a little bit to tweak it on the sizing, and it worked. I go, oh, this works, right? I mean, the sizing isn't perfect, but I'm just saying there's so much power that you guys have with MoxiPresent. It's crazy. And the amount of business just with this tool, this one tool, it's so exciting to hear. And you could see how easy it was. I'm not the expert. Angie's the expert in MoxiPresent. But after playing around with it, it's easy to use off a template, but then, you know, you can customize it, but then you can customize it even more. So now that I have this, right, I can use this and save it as a template because I don't want to, you know, create that YouTube video screen of US Open and add a Matterport tour. I'm going to use it as a template. So if there's another Matterport tour, I can just plop it into this one instead. I could create my own template. Other questions? And then also, yes. Angie, if you wouldn't mind popping the survey into the chat, that'd be fantastic. Other questions? Sorry.
Alex?
Yes.
This is Teresa. I was wondering, when you assign a presentation to an agent and it moves to their account, does it change the header from me to them so that their profile appears in that presentation?
No. It's just, you can see nothing changes other than it's adding. Are you saying, oh, yeah, it's just added. In this case, it just added the second person.
Okay, that's for adding a co-presenting agent. But what about when you
assigning? Oh, yeah. I haven't tested that, but I'm assuming that if you're assigning it, you go away and that other person now becomes the person. Okay. And then Angie, I'm not sure if you can speak to that.
Yeah, so if you have like an assistant and they have that option to go in and create it for you and they assign it to you, it should have the agent's information that's been assigned to it. And I like that capability as someone who in my former life was an assistant, makes it much easier. Or if you work on a team, things like that. But yeah, that assigned agent should show up.
Yeah, I don't want to test it and show you because it'll go away and then we don't have.
And I did get a good question in chat that someone had sent to me. Does the broker have access to my MoxiWorks profile? So I'm gonna let you take that, Alex.
Your MoxiWorks profile, you mean your name, number, all that, your headshot, that is all, that information is going to be stored in Dash. And that's where that information is synchronized from Dash into your MoxiWorks platform.
Okay, and how long does it take to synchronize from Dash to Moxie? Because I just assigned an MLS number to my account, even though I'm not an agent.
Yeah, worst case, overnight.
Overnight?
I think
Okay.
the technical answer is multiple times a day, but we say overnight because you might miss that multiple times a day. I think it's like 3. So worst case scenario, overnight update.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Other questions?
Alex, this is Wendy.
Hey,
I
Wendy.
want to know if there are already existing templates or in place, or do we have to start from scratch every time?
No,
I know on
no.
I mean, I
Yeah.
know on campaigns, we can go into Moxie. And so I'm the administrator. So I want to know for the brokerage templates, are there things in place like the campaigns that I can select and put in brokerage templates that my agents can then use?
Are you
I
talking
might-
about?
I might be able to answer that because I had the same question that you have. And
Okay.
when I go in as the broker or even as an agent and I click create new, then there's a drop down that says brokerage or Century 21. And there's all these Century 21 sellers presentations that I can use.
Okay.
Very good.
And I'm wondering if it's the same way for you. Are you with Century 21 also?
I am.
Okay. And then one of them was all the pages that are in the Toolkit CMA.
Okay.
All the pages that we love from the Toolkit CMA. The only thing was you couldn't edit any of them. So I had to have one of my staff create a new page for my marketing plan of action because that is so powerful. But now we don't know how to add it in. So I hope today I was going to learn how to do that. So an agent can create that Century 21 that looks just like the Toolkit CMA. And then they can add that page that they can edit themselves. And then they can delete the static my marketing plan of action. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, Jeffrey, if you're a product champion, maybe you want to send us an email regarding that. Possible topic on future best practices calls for our product champions, so that we can take it more from a leadership perspective and how you would do that. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up, that when we do create new, you're gonna probably also see your templates that have been created by your brand. In our demo system, we don't show that, but thank you, Jeffrey, for reminding that, yes, of course, your brokerage and your brand can also prepare templates just for you that you're used to using, okay, that are specific to your brand. So start with a template and then customize from there.
5 minutes,
right?
I'll be done.
Other questions? I know we're at time. We're actually past time. I just wanted to thank.
Alex, I have one.
Yeah,
I know we're beyond time. In the beginning, you were talking about Engage and you were talking about the contacts and the dashboard. And I know that when we first go in, you either have Gmail or you have Outlook, and it can sync all of your contacts over to Engage. So I do that first initial sync. What happens if I add a new contact to my email? Will it put it over there, or from the first sync on, you have to hand do them?
No, it's gonna synchronize. That's the whole point.
It will synchronize.
Yeah, your calendar synchronizes, your email contacts will synchronize. But then the challenge is that you want to categorize that new person. Let's say you added that new person in Outlook or your Google contacts.
Yeah.
You want to categorize that person in Engage, or you say, I forgot what the terminology is, remove or don't associate or whatever, where they're not a person that you're marketing to using the CRM. Make sense?
Okay. Yep. He's a non-client or
non-client,
whatever.
or like it's Home Depot you added in your phone, Yeah,
Gotcha.
you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna add, you're not
Yes.
gonna market to them. So yeah, we delete them from the CRM, Engage, but that Home Depot still remains in our contacts on our in our
Gotcha.
Gmail.
And
or
how long does that sync take? Is that like a 15-minute thing or is that a day?
For the initial sync, I guess it depends on your
No.
contacts.
Like, no, like if I did the initial sync and now a week later I add a new contact, how long does it take for them to sync over?
That should be not, I don't know in terms of timing, but that should be pretty much, I don't want to say immediate, but pretty relatively seamless.
Quick.
Where you,
Okay.
yeah.
All
right,
righty.
so I
Well,
have a
thank you.
question about syncing also, because I synced all of my contacts from Google, and it changed everybody's phone number on my iPhone. And instead of saying cell number or iPhone or mobile, now it gives an HTTP schemes.google other. It changed all of them.
On your iPhone?
Yep.
Yeah, now that is certainly a ticket
Alex,
request.
we've had the same issue that's happened in our brokerage. When it synced from Google, changed the names or changed the phone numbers and addresses, even changed the category that they were assigned to from Google. We currently are working on a ticket and we have gone all the way to the top. They're trying to figure out why it's doing that.
Very
Yes, that's correct. So Alex, if my contacts in my phone are not Google contacts, they stayed. Nothing changed. It's all my contacts in my phone that were Google that were also in Google. It changed them all, just like she explained. So we're like hesitant to have any of our agents do that.
Yes.
We're gonna have to if you can share those tickets with us so that we can kind of further research so that we're aware. That's the first time I heard of it. I'm not sure, Angie, if you've seen that, but
yeah, and when we go to change them in Moxie, it does not update. It just reverts back to the previously saved.
Yeah, that's certainly an issue.
Yeah, that sounds like a glitch to me.
Yeah.
They know it is. They're working on it. It's we have had multiple phone calls and services with our brokerage director on this issue. So it's
yeah, that's pretty significant. Sorry to hear that, but yeah, it's we need to get more information on that, and I'm sure that's high priority because that's significant.
Yeah.
Other questions? And I'm sorry to hear about that one. Other questions? Thank you all for attending. Be on the lookout for additional dates for the remainder of the year. Thank you, Angie, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you all for attending.
Great information. I really appreciate it, you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Good program. Thank you.
Thank you.